maple tree takes 40 to 50 years of growing before it's ready to use the first time. So we don't plant them like maybe in your country you would plant apples or olive trees in straight rows. We use wild trees. We have to go to them every year in February and wound them with a drill. This is called a tubing system, and we'll drill into the tree this deeply, and with a drill 5/16 in diameter. And a new hole has to be drilled in a different place every year. But you might think we're hurting the trees. I don't think we are. There are maples on this farm that have been tapped 100 years in a row, and they're still productive. So they last a long time. Though each place we drill leaves a vein of scar tissue. This was 2012, this was 2011, this was 2010.
How old do you think this tree is?
This is pushing 40 years old. It's had a better life than ones back in the forest, because we actually planted this when it was, I planted it when it was this big around, so we would have a shade tree here. Every once in a while I'll give it a little fertilizer. It's a heavier tree. So it may be a little younger, maybe 30 instead of 40. Yeah, but as a rule, again, out in the forest they take longer. And they're being wild trees, we don't feed them fertilizer or lime or anything, because they may, we might actually hurt them by giving them something they do not want. But we need just the right weather for sap to run. We need freezing nights down into the mid-20s Fahrenheit in March, in the spring, and above freezing days up into the 40s Fahrenheit. And this year we had a problem with our weather. I hate to tell you, but we had 2 weeks in March of weather, summer-like temperatures. And that's no good for sugar. Our sap stopped running and our season left early. We only had about 5 days of sugar season. So I'll take you into the sugar house where it's a little sheltered but not heated. Sorry that it's chilly.
Somebody's got to say cheap.
So this is our sugar house, and as you see, sugar houses are a little bit rough. They're not like factories, because the season only lasts on the best of seasons might last 5 weeks. And I just told you about the worst of seasons, which was this one we just got through, which was 5 days. But the sap comes out of the tree looking just like water. It'll only drip 1 drop at a time, although these days we have the plastic tubing running from tree to tree instead of buckets. And we're actually pulling it with vacuum. So we get more sap. But it never comes more than 1 drop at a time, like drip, 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 drip. Looks like water, tastes a lot like water. There is no stickiness to sap at all. And it's going to take 40 gallons of sap to boil down and make 1 gallon of pure maple syrup. That's a 40-gallon drum there. And visualize a 1-gallon jug on top. That would be the ratio, sap to syrup. So it makes it a fairly expensive product. It's pure. We don't add a thing to make maple syrup. All we do is take the water, most of the water out. Sap comes out of the tree at 2% sugar content on the average, and it leaves the evaporator as finished maple syrup at 67%. Pure sugar right from the maple tree. These days we're starting the process in the room in the corner back there. There's a machine.